Hi guys, I have all these different molds here, and these molds I want to make some hot glue embellishments with these molds. I like using them for toilet paper molds as well, and hot glue. Just depends on, it depends on what I'm in the mood for really, because they both are really good. So one of the things I find make it easier is to have a silicone piece. This is a silicone pad that they sell next to these at Michael's, and they work really well together, and you could do your stencils and stuff like that with your hot glue with these, like these stencils I have here, where you do your hot glue on them and then you peel them off when they cool. So that's a good thing for them. But I like to use these is when I do my molds, I put them on here and I flatten them out, and it makes them just that much better. It makes them work out better. Another thing that might work is, if you don't have, is like probably aluminum foil, but you gotta make sure that when you do flip it on there and rub that on there, that you're not going to burn yourself. So you might find something in the dollar store too that's silicone that you could just put over top of your molds after you do them. So yeah, and that works. Don't overfill your molds, because that doesn't work very well. So I'm going to grab my hot glue gun. I'm going to be right here, guys. And I have the high and low setting, but I find that the high setting does work better for me. And you just pour a little amount in your molds. Fill it all up. If you do such smaller molds work better, because you know it's not going to dry out on you. Whereas if you're doing something really large, it's going to be hard, because by the time you get to one end, it'll be dry and it might not work as well. So just a little word of warning there. So as you can see, I think you can see me filling up this mold here. And it's not over full. And I'm just going to stick that in there on top, pushing it down. It's not overfull. I could fill it right to the rim, like if you were to do you can turn this little thing into a bezel, because you could fill it up with resin or whatever and have that little square there to put something down into. But there's different ways to do it, but there's no point in making it all the way flat and just wasting that space with the hot glue, because it works nicer as a mold. You can do it, you can do things differently or whatever with your molds. You don't have to use them just for what their purposes are for. Like I said, I've used them for toilet papers. They're great. That works great on ATC, especially when you're sending them off. They're lighter, and that's what I like the best about my toilet paper molds. When I'm doing hot glue molds, and this one I did get some air bubble in there, and I didn't quite get it perfect, because I'm not quite paying attention, but it's going to make a nice little, it's not too bad. So if you go overboard with your mold, see here it's a little on the thin side on this side here, but that's okay, I can work that into my design. You will be wasting a lot of glue and having a lot of glue flowing over, and you don't really want that. So that's this mold here, and this is meant to be like a cake mold that I got from a hobby store, from the cake section. These ones, it's hard to get into the cracks. It's a sprocket. Not even sure if I've ever used this as a mold piece, but we'll see. I used it in toilet paper, and it's kind of, I need to really stick it in with a brush. I made it out of the Tim Holtz pieces, sprockets, and I just pushed it into my molds. Most of my really good ones that I made a whole bunch of them. I gave them away. So, and I just never made myself anymore. I think I might have given most of my pieces away. So it's going to peel off when it's ready, and you can see here there's a lighter and a darker section. If you can see that, that's still hot there. So I'm going to do the claw piece here, and that's what I use this silicone for, to push it into the mold to get a great impression. Otherwise it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. I could, like I said, you could try it with aluminum foil. Plastic wrap will melt, but something that's going to take the heat. I would go to the dollar store and look for something with silicone that has got a smooth surface. They must have some kind of cookie sheet or something like that, and I would work with that, because that's the only way you're really going to get these molds to work for you. Otherwise it's really not going to work well, because you do need to, you can't just expect that to turn out. You do need to put pressure on it, squish it in, and that kind of thing to get it to work right. So these packs here, is there a price on here? I don't know, and it comes in a package like this, and it's meant to put something behind it, and then you can do your glitter glue, fancy glues, and copy out whatever you have underneath. And I think that's one of the main uses for them. It's really great though for. I also have made like a jelly prints on these, on this, with of course silicone prints. We're just rolling with my brayer and adding paint and putting stencils down and all that kind of stuff, and it worked out really, really well. So I mean, if you don't have a jelly print plate, this is a good second to do. It works well. So here's this one. So the pressure of you pushing in really works to get the good impression, and then you just gotta snip the edges a bit here. So there's another one. This one's still quite warm. I'm gonna work on some flowers here just to show you guys. I have some large roses. Now I love these flowers. They look so cute on some projects, and you can buy them made, and they make them with, like, I don't know, some kind of plastic or whatever, but I don't mind. I'll do the second one too. It's quite hot, so I don't mind making them with the hot glue gun. I've even made them with toilet paper, and they turn out really well. So put that on there and push it down. You can flip them over onto the table, and then that way you can have a nice flat surface and not just your bump on your hand. This one's dry. That's what it looks like. And I know it seems, and you can feel the pressure of what you're doing in there. If that's nice and compact, you can feel that. And that's how you get the perfect impression. And when you paint, it looks really nice. You can see it kind of looks iffy right now, but we'll paint it and we'll show you how it really can look nice. So let's do a bumblebee here. And you just gotta make sure you get into the crevices and you don't get too much, because you're just wasting it anyway then. And it's not doesn't look so good when you have it overfilled. It just doesn't look very good, as the piece that you've made just does not. Now if you do it like this, just like this, it's not going to work. You've got to put the pressure on there. So you can see that I've done these three pieces. I've done the bumblebee, the key, and the fleur, whatever, French thingy. This is not dry, or it's not cooled off enough. So I'm going to flip that down. It's almost cooled off, but it's not, and I just kind of might have messed up the centers of those flowers because I'm hurrying it along too much. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing here. So I have this one flipped here, and then I have this one flipped here. I'm waiting for this one to cool off, and I might have messed it up because I'm getting my hair everywhere because I'm trying to do a quick job of it. So I'm going to work on some of these ones here. I'm going to do this round frame, which looks great on ATC cards and lots of little embellishments in, like, for example, the little eggs I made or anything like that. These things look really good, especially, you know, you just get them painted right. Now you have to use silicone molds with this. I tried to do even the lower plastic heating with the plastic chocolate mold, and it was too hot. And yeah, it was too hot and it started melting it. So it's gotta be a silicone mold. So this one's dry, or cooled off, I should say. And I hopefully didn't ruin it, but you can see how pulling it up too soon pulled out some of the glue on the inside. But you can't see that through, so that's nice. Then you can paint these to whatever color you want after. So that's that one. Here's the bumblebee, the key, and whatever thing. There's that. I got sparkle in there. And my big fingers. That's going to look cute on something. Bumblebee. Looks pretty rough just to look at it, but once you paint it, you'll see it looks really nice. And the key. And I'm going to do I'll do some gears on this one. You guys, I'm pretty sure, have seen me do gears, and I've done this clock face before. Right here, and this is on my tuna can clock. This one, made with hot glue. It is on the front of my tuna can clock. Just to let you know. So if you go look at my video on the tuna can clock, you can see the result of that one. Looks pretty good. I was really pleased in how that turned out. Gotta make sure that you get around all the sprockets. Fill it up nice because you're gonna have to get in there and then go down the wheel of the sprockets, and you just gotta trim what goes over. And there we go. This one was cooling off, but hopefully I had. So you wouldn't be able to do all of them at once. You'd have to do this. This one might have messed up because I didn't press it, and I started working on the other one. And here's the nice frame here. And it doesn't look like much right now, but once you paint them, these are going to look really nice. Now these ones are also for cake. I tried to do this one. It's too hard to do the whole strip because it dries, and then you don't have time to press it. So this one's a good one for toilet paper molds, and I have made nice ATC cards with these to be at the strips at the bottom, and so I would save that for something like a toilet paper mold. But I have done these with both toilet paper molds and hot glue, so these ones work really well, and they would make nice embellishments. So if you can use your molds for other things, you know, toilet paper, resin, and all that, you know, other things, then it's worth to use it. So this one's, like I said, it's not particularly perfect, the long strips for the hot glue, but this one here I've done in toilet paper, I've done all these in toilet paper. Now this one here, I'm worried it didn't turn out with the clock because you can see it dried or cooled off before I got to press it. So that end here of the clock, that's actually a good example how it didn't work out. Because now you can see exactly what happens if you don't press it. This is exactly what happens. You get this mess. But if you press it, this is what happens. So I can probably use this by just kind of trimming off what didn't happen, what messed up, and it's still a good piece for the art project, but this one I wouldn't use. So if you're one at a time would be really good, unless there are a couple of little small sprockets. And the sprockets, if you did like bunch of sprockets and a couple of them didn't quite work out, you can cut them to fit your, you can still use them. But like I said, some things you just need to, still warm, some things you just need to, did I do this one? My kids are being very loud. So I'm going to do this one right here. I'm going to show you the nice patterns of the flower. I do my outer edge first, go in the center, and the key, see how you're just putting it on top? It would never work out. Never. The key is to seriously push that down. I'm getting my hair seems to be everywhere. It's because the silicone's so sticky. Now this one, these ones, since the webs are holding them together, but there, isn't that cute? More little embellishments to play with. Like I said, this one I worked on, and this half of it I ended up having to cut off. It didn't work, and you can do little strips, but it just didn't work for the whole piece, so I couldn't use it on anything larger than an ATC because I had to cut it. But doing that whole strip with toilet paper, and then it worked. So what I did was I made these in toilet paper and cut them as I need them for whatever pieces. So that worked. This one too, same thing. It's a silicone, and it's an alphabet one. Just try to get inside the lettering really well. The pressure is what's really going to make it work. If you put too little in there, it's not going to work too well. And then you got to kind of really push your fingers into it to get it to take the shape of whatever you're doing. So I have one silicone mold that I made that I can show you an example. I'm sure I have done it before, but since we're doing that today, I'm going to show you that particular mold. So I'm going to push my A down, my R, and my T. These guys are all going to be painted. Don't pull them off. Flip them down. These ones are still quite warm, or this one is still quite warm. But but not too warm. You can just pull a little bit and see. There it is. So I think I'm going to show one more after this. There we go. See how that is? Very good detail. Very good detail. So I'm going to be painting these, but I'll probably have to do another video. Now this one other silicone, I'm sure I've done it, but I'm not sure if I've done it in front of you guys. I have used this for a project. I think it was canvas, and I put the glue in here, or the hot glue, but I didn't fill it up because that would be impossible to do properly. But what I did was I just wanted to have the bit of the stuff in for texture for my project. So carefully remove my A, R, and T. And there they are. I don't know if you can see them very well with this light because it's so bright, but it's really helpful for me to see. So this is how we do this one. I'm going to have a stick ready because it takes a lot of glue and it's fast doing. So I'm just getting right into the, really going quickly. You gotta make sure your glue is really hot for this one. I'm going right around into the crevices, and you notice my glue went down really quickly. This is a mold that I made out of one of my picture frames from Michael's. It's not one of the best molds I made, but I do love the texture, and it does work if you do it correctly. You might not get the whole and it's actually not heating up really well now. I might have done it too thick because this one you gotta do really thin to get to work, right? And you're just gonna have to play with your molds. Now this one, part of it's gonna be dry. You getting pushing that down as fast as you can. This is not a perfect mold because, like I said, it was but if you do as quick as you can get part of the impression, and it looks really, really good. Because this going back over some of it. It's harder to do, oh, my hair. It's harder to do it with the big, larger molds. But you have to push into it. But you can do it, but this one actually might not work out because it doesn't look like it's going to work out. And I'm showing you, but it had worked out in the past. And I'm going to stop the video for 1 second. Okay, I just want to show you here in this picture. This is that mold I'm using now, and I did a very thin layer of it, painted it white, added gold and black to it, and that's on this piece, and it worked really, really well. And that's this mold. So this one particular one that I've done, it might not work out because it might have been too much on one side. But actually, even though it doesn't look that great, it'll look better once it's painted. So the back side doesn't really matter what it looks like. So actually, yeah, it did turn out not too bad, but this part here might not look like it, but once it's painted, it's going to look great. So here are my pieces that I have done, and now I'm going to leave you with this. This is looking good. I'm going to make another video and paint them up. I'm not sure if I'm going to paint them all up or what, but we'll see. So guys, give it a try. Don't forget your silicone pad and give it a try. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.